Take me out to the ball game. Take me out with the crowd. Buy me some peanuts and Cracker Jack. I don't care if I never get back. Everybody! Okay. Dr. Buster, why won't you take me out to the ball game?
I prefer not to be seen with you in public. Hey, it's business. It's not personal.
Well, baseball is a very successful business in America and much of the rest of the world. So thanks for shitting on people who work in the baseball industry by saying it's not real business. Wow.
Okay. Okay.
Buster, how do you feel about sports? What's your favorite sport to watch these days?
I enjoy sports. I don't enjoy all sports, though.
Oh, you don't? Wow, I thought you enjoyed every single sport that's ever existed. And I'm really surprised to hear that you didn't enjoy every single one of them.
I know you're just going to mock me for what I'm about to say, but I'm going to say it anyway. It's interesting, for whatever reason, when people find out I am super into football and the NFL, they're surprised. I get that a lot. Like, people will meet me and then they, for some reason, assume that I'm not the type of guy to watch sports ball at all. But then there's also another mix of people who find out I don't play sports. I'm not super into playing anything. I just watch it. And then they're also super surprised by that. So I guess people have the assumptions about me and my involvement in sports.
Yeah, everyone, how bad do you feel for Buster that people mistake him for a peak physical athlete that must be doing something athletic with his free time? Don't you all just feel so bad that Buster gets judged, and that way they assume not his gender or his orientation, but his sports interests and active lifestyle habits? Buster, hang on. I got to get the world's smallest violin out for you, man. I just don't know how you survive with that sort of prejudice against you.
Well, you could save yourself one step and just get the world's smallest dick, which you already have on you, and you wouldn't even have to pull it out.
That's good. You know, in opposition of what you said, where people see you and they're just like, whoa, this guy must be a fucking bodybuilder, a football player, or whatever, according to you.
That's not.
I want to let you know that not once in my life, ever, childhood or adult, has anyone looked at me and said, you must play some sports.
No, they didn't.
That has literally not happened once.
No, it's not like some 7-year-old man's looking at me through his thick-rimmed glasses. He touches me on the small of the back and says, boy, you must play sports. No, it's like, they'll ask me, what sports did you play in high school? Or you're super into the NFL. You didn't play any sports growing up. And I'm always like, nope, couldn't give a shit less about playing it. I just like to watch it.
Maybe that 70-year-old man is touching you not for that reason, but in order to turn into you as an Animorph later. Because we learned in our Animorph bonus episodes for Tennis Pod Plus members that they have to touch an animal in order to transform into them. So could that be what was happening when that old man touched you?
Is that what Michael Jackson was doing too? He's just trying to Animorph.
Right.
And
I think we're going to move on. Buster, the Super Bowl happened not too long ago as we record this. Although we are recording...
Am I recording with Michael Vick? It sounds like you have a dog fighting ring occurring in the other room. I didn't know if you could hear that, but there are dogs. Holy
puppies,
shit.
in fact, fighting right here next to me.
God, I can't even concentrate without the thought of violence that's occurring in your house right now.
It is funny because I didn't think you could hear that, but there you go. Everyone, if you're wondering why there's a dog fight happening in the background, it's because these puppies are playing with their toy wine bottle stuffy. Buster, the Super Bowl happened not too long ago. As you surely know, in another life, you could have been a professional football player easily. So it seems like a great time to talk about sports here in America. And we're going to talk about the top 10 best sports cities in America. You like that?
Oh, you like that, babe? Best sports city. Got it.
Are you a parrot now? You going to repeat everything I say this whole episode?
I'm a parent, but I'm not a parrot. Not yet, because I haven't been able to touch a parrot for 10 seconds. Get out of there. It's Animorph DNA. But I hope too soon you make my way to a zoo and find a way to get inside the cage and touch the parrot.
I thought after we did 2 deep dives on Animorphs recently for Tennis Pod Plus members, I thought after that we could close the book on Animorphs once and for all. But here we are, still talking about it.
That's a book that never closes.
Oh, you're right. Well, Buster, best sports cities. What does that mean, in fact? So I pulled this from Wallet Hub. In search of the best sports cities from the fans' perspective, they compared 400 cities across more than 50 key metrics related to the 5 largest sports in the U.S., which are football, baseball, basketball, soccer, hockey. Those are the big 5 in the United States. Each sports category was assigned with a weight corresponding with the total percentage of adults in the U.S. who claim to follow that particular sport, according to Gallup. So Gallup, they have this data on the sports that are most watched in America. By the way, Brandon and I did cover that list back in episode number 91 in the archives. Each sport category was also graded on a 100-point scale, with a score of 100 representing the most favorable conditions for sports fans. Finally, they determined each city's weighted average across all sports. Blah, blah, blah. They did all this research on the sports cities with the most passionate fans, the sports cities that have won the most championships, the sports cities with the most sports watching opportunities, so like the most teams and the most sports. All that stuff combined and aggregated and weighted to determine their ranking as of October 2024 for the best city to live in if you're a sports fan.
Gotcha.
Okay. I also pulled some data from Forbes and Wikipedia. But Buster, before we get to the list, we got to talk about the history of sports in America. Historically, the most popular sport in America has historically been what?
Lumberjacking.
Baseball. However, in most recent decades, American football has been the most popular spectator sport based on viewership audience. Basketball has also grown into a mainstream American sport since the 80s. Kind of interesting to hear that, the 80s wasn't that long ago. And ice hockey and soccer doing the same around the turn of the 21st century. Those are the big 5. American football, indoor American football, baseball, softball, indoor soccer evolved out of older British sports like rugby, British baseball, rounders, etc. However, basketball, volleyball, beach volleyball, racquetball, pickleball, skateboarding, snowboarding, ultimate windsurfing, and water skiing are all fully American inventions, although some have become popular in other countries as well.
Yeah, give it enough time, and if the current people alive have anything to say about it, pickleball will be in the big 5 by 2050.
Pickleball really is growing. Yeah, it is.
Why is everyone so obsessed with pickleball?
I think it's because it's so accessible. You can play it as a kid. You can play it as an old man that touches Buster to anamorph into him.
I'm quite accessible, but people don't love me.
Well, you got that fucking right. God damn, you got that fucking right. I don't know if you've ever said anything more right than that. Fuck.
I'm consenting already, and I don't even know what the question is.
Well, speaking of the question, what is the answer to the question? The oldest sport invented in what is now the United States is what sport?
Okay, so it had to be invented here.
Even if it had, even if it was invented before the United States became a country. Ugh. All right, I'm just going to tell you because you'll never guess it. It's lacrosse.
Okay.
And it originated among the indigenous peoples of the eastern woodlands and the Great Lake regions. Lacrosse was played by various tribes and had spiritual and social significance. The game was often played in large teams and could involve hundreds of players. Imagine watching football on TV today and there are hundreds of players on the field at the time. I'd actually love that. It was not only a sport, but also a way to resolve conflicts, train warriors, and celebrate community. So maybe instead of this Russia-Ukraine war, they could just settle things not by combat, but by lacrosse.
Yeah. Which is interesting because now I associate it with higher SES, white, maybe socially awkward people who play lacrosse or who even watch it. But
cool.
To hear
Judge
that
people
it was
some more.
I will. And it's strange to me that has Native American origins. I would not have thought that.
American Indians had been playing lacrosse for millennia.
Well, by God, I have 1% more respect for the sport of lacrosse at this moment after learning that fact.
Which is a 100% increase from the 0% you had before.
Well, mathematically, no, that's not correct, because if it's from 0, there's no
Going
percentage.
From 0 to 1 is a 100% increase.
It's not, because 0 is on the bottom as the denominator, so there is no percentage increase from 0.
Okay, and as far as sports we all know today, of those big 5 here in America, baseball, the Knickerbocker Baseball Club, founded in 1845, set many modern rules for baseball. It evolved in New York City as part of the 19th century, and baseball became professionalized with the National League in 1876. It was the first major professional league. Can you believe people have been playing organized professional sports since the 1800s?
When they're shitting in the streets.
I was about to say, you get done shitting in the street, you turn to your left and then go play baseball.
Yep. You wipe your ass with one hand, and in the next minute you're picking up the communal bat to hit a home run.
Mm.
I also want to say that in a previous episode we talked about the most common mascots for sports teams in America.
Yeah, that
And I
sucked.
can't think of a more lackluster mascot than the type of pants we all wear, which is still the New York Knicks.
I promise you we will beat that here. As there's a team name, a team still around today that had an old name no longer in use that I never knew about, and I think you're gonna like it.
Well,
But baseball, like, before television, you had to either go in person to attend this baseball game to watch it, or you had to listen on the radio.
mm-hmm.
And that's so, I don't know. I've never done it. Maybe you've done it. Older listeners might have done it. Older listeners also are not allowed to listen to this podcast, so please leave. But listening to a sport from beginning to end, listening to a game or an event beginning to end, only on radio. It seems so weird to me.
We had other options. That was all we had.
I know. I get it. I
have listened to it while like mowing the lawn before, but not the whole broadcast.
Or driving maybe, but like
Mm-hmm.
just like sitting in your living room with a radio next to you. That was the norm. American football, which is now the most popular sport in America, began with the first intercollegiate game between Princeton and Rutgers in 1869. The sport saw major changes, including the introduction of the forward pass and the establishment of the NCAA, leading to its growing popularity, especially in colleges. Now, basketball, which I would guess is your second favorite sport to watch after football. Do I have that right?
Of the Big Five
so
or in general?
To be clear, it's not a life or death answer. So
of the
I'm
Big
not hold
Five
you to
or
it.
all sports in general?
Sure, of the Big Five.
Yes, basketball is next.
Okay. Well, that was invented by listener of the show, Dr. James Naismith, in 1891 as a winter indoor activity. Basketball quickly gained traction and began spreading to colleges and beyond. By the century's end, it became professional. Now let's fast forward to modern times. At over $16 billion in revenue, the NFL is the most valuable sports league, not just in America, but the world. And the market for professional sports in the United States is about $69 billion, roughly 50% larger than all of Europe, Middle East, and Africa's sports combined.
God bless America.
Americans love their sports. And although American football does not have a substantial following in other nations, the NFL does have the highest average attendance of any professional sport in the world, with over 67,000 average attendance at an NFL game.
Let's go.
Yep. This is a U.S. list. These are U.S. cities where it's the best U.S. cities for sports fans in America. And NFL will be a big, big part of the discussion today. So I'm ready to turn you loose. What do you think is a safe bet to not be one of the top 10 best sports cities in America?
Show me Oakland, California.
Well, you got that right. Yep. No
Oakland. God damn, if you're a sports fan in Oakland, you still are trying to stop crying from all the sports teams that have left your city.
Don't they have a few? Don't they have a baseball team still?
I think the baseball team left.
Oakland A's, is that the team? I don't know. There's no Oakland, but you do have a couple California cities on here.
What else is not in the top 10?
Sure.
Casper, Wyoming. Anything in Wyoming, or the Dakotas for that matter, or Montana or Idaho.
There is nothing in the top 10 that doesn't have an NFL team.
Right.
So you're right. No Casper, Wyoming.
Am I fucking good or what?
Let's see. The closest city to Casper, Wyoming, I believe, it's got to be number 10.
Well, I'm going to guess that son bitch.
Okay.
Denver, Colorado.
Denver, Colorado is a shitty, stupid fucking guess. Really bad.
Okay. Well, you said it wasn't, I was thinking of like closer to Casper, Wyoming, and I thought, well, the Denver Nuggets won the championship 2 years ago. Plus, they do have an NFL team that's not good right now, but it is a staple in the NFL.
So Denver is number 12.
Okay.
And when I said number 10 on the list is closer to Casper, it's just the closest of the top 10. It is still very far from Wyoming.
Okay, show me Seattle, Washington.
Seattle's number 11.
It's almost like I'm buttering you up for my actual guess for number 10.
If you were guessing things that aren't on the list, you'd be doing great.
That's what I'm doing. And I'm killing it.
Hmm.
Because not once did you segue us into where you said, well, now, Buster, why don't you go ahead and guess items that are on the list? You didn't
Fine,
do that.
fine. Let me say it. Why don't you go ahead and guess items that are on the list? Jesus Christ.
Show me Chicago, Illinois.
I would have for sure guessed Chicago as well, but it is way down at number 15.
I know it.
I think part of that might be that don't most of their teams suck lately?
Yeah, the Bears still suck. Sorry out there if you're a Chicago Bears fan, but as a person who lives in Wisconsin, I'm going to tell you, it's not this year and it won't be next year, and it probably won't be the year after that. So now, 10 years ago, I would not have guessed this. But speaking of the NFC North in the NFL, how about Detroit?
Nope.
Okay.
Number 19.
Let's go with last year's NBA champions, Boston Celtics. Boston on the list.
Boston Celtics is, you finally guessed one. Where is it on the list?
7.
2. Way
Pitt.
off. Boston, Massachusetts. They have won a total of 40 championships between their pro sports team, which is the second most in this top 10 list. Their oldest team, what?
I guess technically the New England Patriots are in Boston.
Yes.
Okay, I always forget that.
So that's a good clarification, actually. So this includes like the metro area because I
Well,
believe, yeah.
I just forget, the name New England is like the whole 13 original colonies, and I forget it's actually located in Boston.
Well, it's actually located just outside Boston, but I'm just saying. The Red Sox, Buster's favorite baseball team, is the oldest team in this area. They were founded in 1901. And if you're looking, what?
Guys, I have such a pitch for you, okay? I got a mascot that's going to it sums up who we are, what we stand for, all of our values, and it's going to strike fear in the hearts of our enemies. Guys, what about the color of the fucking socks we wear? You think that's pretty good?
Meanwhile, like your Red Sox are facing the what's a fierce like baseball, the Tigers in Detroit or whatever, right? It's like, by the way, for those of you watching this full video episode on YouTube, you will see a black kitty wearing a bow tie has popped up right next to Buster. Just, what's he doing? Like what drives his decision making to say, I think it's time to go sit on the desk next to Buster?
Yeah, all day. He's been nowhere to be found. But as soon as the live microphone comes on and Daddy needs to be in record mode, here he is.
Okay, Buster, I don't need a full review of your day. Fuck, we all got days. We all got shit going on. We don't need to know every detail of your life. The Patriots are an NFL team, and they are tied with another team on this list, or another city on this list, for the most Super Bowl wins at 6. That's as of 2024. The Boston Red Sox play their home games at Fenway Park near Kenmore Square in the city's Fenway section. It was built in 1912. It is the oldest sports arena or stadium that is still in active use in the U.S. among the major sports. Stop putting your camera down to Cosmo's face. You don't give a shit. That's the thing. Cosmo doesn't give a fuck.
He likes
ain't
sports.
Listening.
He especially loves the sport where you grab the can opener from the counter and he knows you're about to open a can of tuna. That's his favorite sport.
Brother, you don't know what a perfect segue you just did with can and can opener, because we're about to go into the thing I was about to say. Do you remember when I said there's a team name not in use anymore that blew me away? Well,
no
here
way.
it is. You tell me if Red Sox is better than this name. Boston's first professional baseball team was the Red Stockings. That's not the name. One of the charter members of the National Association in 1871. The team played under that name until 1883, until they changed their name to the Beaneaters. What do you think of that name?
They'll blow you away, brother.
Is the Beaneaters better than the Red Sox?
At least it has some comedic value. I mean, I'm just so indifferent about Red Sox, but the Beaneaters, so many good marketing
I don't
ploys.
want to play with the Beaneaters. I want to play with the people that haven't just eaten beans.
Yeah, well, you don't want to play against them. They'll toot you right off the field.
But by the way, Beaneaters, anyone can eat beans. There's no skill in that. Same with the Sox. Anyone can put on Red Sox. But... Well, anyway, they played under that name until 1911, and then they changed their names to the Braves from 1912 until they moved to Milwaukee in the 1952 season, and since 1966, the Braves play out of Atlanta. So the Atlanta Braves actually go back to Boston as the Beaneaters. So there you go.
It is interesting to me how often sports franchises move locations. They change up mascots and colors and logos, and you would just think, like, this team is in Boston. They've always been there, and they've always been called the Red Sox, but rarely is that the case.
Well, in Boston's case, I think it is. But we talk about this with the NBA, the Jazz in Utah, that came from New Orleans, right?
Fucking hilarious.
And I don't know. I think I would have changed the name at that point.
And the LA Lakers came from Minnesota, the land of 10,000 lakes. California, not necessarily known for its water access.
One thing I do like about the Lakers name is it does flow well with LA. LA Lakers, sure. Los Angeles. Like, if I'm me and I'm on the board, that's enough for me to keep the name. I'm sorry.
Well, you should be sorry.
So, Bub, what else you got?
Thanks to Tom Brady and Sir Bill Belichick and Rob Gronkowski, Boston was able to fire its way all the way up to number 2. Let's not forget the also impressive legacy of the Celtics.
And the Red Sox, who we just talked about.
Fuck them.
And who's the hockey team? Is the Bruins the hockey team there?
I know zero about hockey.
I think it's the Bruins. Hockey's big in Boston.
I couldn't name a single position in hockey. So
really, because I thought everyone that approached you said, "Whoa, you look like an athlete. Have you played hockey? Do you play hockey actively right now as a 35-year-old?" That's what you said?
Yeah.
Yep. You gonna give another guess, or are we gonna just sit here staring at each other for fucking ever?
Also, for anyone who's a sports fan, I'll just say that as a person who lives in Wisconsin, it made me so happy after how dirty the Milwaukee Bucks did Drew Holiday that he was able to go to Boston and get a ring and another chip for his resume. Very happy for Drew.
So you're not like Oklahoma City fans that disowned Kevin Durant after he left and won a championship?
Nope, because it wasn't even Drew's. Dude, I could go on and on about how Drew Holiday is an amazing both athlete and person, and Milwaukee did him dirty.
Please give another guess.
Show me Miami.
So if Boston's number 2, where's Miami, hotshot?
That's pretty good because they are the Miami Heat, and it is hot, hot, hot down there in the tippy tip of Florida's dick. I'm going to say 6.
You sure?
Yeah.
Well, you're right. 6, as in the Devil's number 666.
Fucking knew it.
It is number 6.
Because all the way down in there in satanic Miami.
She's not a Christian. So Boston won 40 championships between their pro teams. Miami has won 8. The oldest team is pretty recent, the Dolphins, 1966. Now, the 1972 Dolphins were the 3rd NFL team to accomplish a perfect regular season, and they went on to win that year's Super Bowl 7, as well as the next year's Super Bowl 8. Miami Metro has hosted more Super Bowls than any other metro area at 11 Super Bowls. And the Orange Bowl, one of the major games in the college football playoff of the NCAA, is played at Hard Rock Stadium every winter. Buster, you don't, how do you feel about Miami sports?
I don't know too much about the Miami Heat other than Jimmy Butler, and they were in contention for a championship 2 seasons ago. And I know that the Miami Dolphins have a flashy, exciting offense. However, unfortunately, they've not been able to turn that into consistent dividends to make it very far into the playoffs these past few years. And their quarterback, Tua Tagovailoa, has scary recurring concussions, and from a mental health or like a brain health perspective, it's kind of a scary story.
So now you're a brain doctor.
My profession is literally psychologist, so sure.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Well, that's what you've told me. I haven't verified that. I haven't heard anyone tell me that other than you, but okay. I guess I'll take your word for it. I mean, you do have all the credibility in the world, for sure.
Well, that's this whole episode. It's just you talking shit about things that I'm supposed to take at face value.
How about you take at face value another guess? So this isn't the world's longest episode.
I'm going to need so much therapy after this recording.
Well, you can just therapize yourself because you're every doctor in the world. Therapize, bub. Therapize. That's that satanic ritual.
I love apple pie, pumpkin pie, therapize. It's good. Christmas. Dessert. Okay.
No more Florida in the top 10.
No more Florida. How high up is Dallas?
You say it like it's a foregone conclusion.
Is that on the list?
It is. but
Okay.
you're just kind of an arrogant prick about it. But yeah.
Well, you got the richest sports franchise in the motherfucking world in Dallas. Plus, they were very successful in the 90s.
That's
So
on
I'm
my
gonna
notes.
guess they're 5.
Wow, you nailed it again. 5. Now, they're another recent comer to, because Boston's team, 1901, their oldest team was 1901. A few other cities we're going to talk about have teams in the 1800s and the 1900s, but Dallas, like Miami, their oldest team goes back to the 60s. That's the Dallas Cowboys, which are the financially the most valuable sports franchise in the world, worth approximately $9 billion, that one team. And it's funny that the Cowboys are the most financially valuable team when they've not been that successful for like 30 years now.
Don't get me started, brother.
All right.
I'll join many other NFL fans in saying that I fucking hate the Cowboys on principle.
Well, just because of that, I love them to counteract you.
Get Dallas Cowboy star face tattoo. Your next child's going to be named Dallas Cowboy.
No. There will be no more children in this house. The Cowboys' home stadium, AT&T Stadium in Arlington, Texas, can seat up to 100,000 people, making it the largest stadium in the NFL. Buster, you did live in Dallas for a few years, so you never got infected with Dallas Cowboy fever while you were there?
I didn't, no, but I did go to a game against the Cleveland Browns. It was an enjoyable experience.
Did you feel connected to any of the other sports teams there outside of the Cowboys?
No, it was before I was super into basketball. If I had been, it would have been cool to go see the Dallas Mavericks play, because if I remember right, they were doing very well back then. That would be 2012 to 2014. And baseball, the Rangers. I've never been a baseball fan, so yeah.
Right. You think anyone that likes baseball, you already admitted at the top that they can't be professional.
Okay, here's one of my picks. What I've been to a handful of MLB games, and one of the things that bugged me is that when you go to an NFL game, I'd say north of 90% of the people who are in attendance are into the game. They're there to watch the game. When you go to a baseball game, I put that number at like less than 20%. People are there just like having a conversation like they could have been at a Starbucks. They just happen to be at a baseball game. And
yeah,
that annoys
baseball
me.
is just part of it is it's much slower paced than like a football game where like you can afford to not pay attention for a little while. And I mean, that's one of the big criticisms of baseball is it's kind of a boring ass game to watch, you know. It's like you're watching for 12 hours to watch like maybe 3 exciting 10-second spans.
If you are a diehard baseball fan, which many people are that are listening, they're probably so mad at us for saying that because we don't get the nuance of all the downtime. I'm sure that if you gave an hour to explain to us how riveting baseball actually is, we'd understand it. But
that's an hour that they'll never get with me. But go ahead. No, you're right. Just because we don't love a certain sport doesn't mean we don't see the value in it or anyone that watches it is an idiot.
But I do think both of those things, so fuck them.
Okay. Well, that's Dallas. No more Texas in the top 10.
No more Texas.
Hi everyone, Stephen Clark here with a special message about that huge gaping hole in your life. I know, I can see it. There's just something missing that's not letting you find that inner peace and happiness. Well, listener, I too was like you until I discovered that thing that's been missing in my life. That thing that plugged up that huge gaping hole nice and snug. And that's more Tennis Podcast content. You can get more Tennis Podcast content to plug up all of your holes now, especially your ear holes, with a Tennis Pod Plus membership. Tennis Pod Plus is available on both Patreon and Apple Podcasts. Membership includes early access to all episodes of Tennis Podcast, and every single episode is 100% ad-free, which means members are skipping this very ad right now. Yep, they're spared from all of this talk about me and the gaping holes. But not you. Your gaping holes are also missing out on exclusive bonus content with nearly 80 bonus episodes available right now, with more added every month. And that's not all. You will also get Dr. Buster's exclusive monthly mini podcast where he recommends a book in 10 minutes or less. And if that's not enough for your gaping holes, then you'll also get free merch and swag, access to our members-only Discord channel, and you can upgrade for more perks too, like a monthly blooper reel. So what are you waiting for? Plug yourself up with Tennis Pod Plus now. You can even get a free 7-day trial. To sign up, just take a few seconds and go to tennispod.com/plus. That's 10ishpod.com/PLUS. If you're an Apple Podcast listener, you can also sign up with just a few taps on our Apple Podcast page. Get ready to skip terrible ads like this one with 10ish Pod Plus.
Are either major sports cities in Ohio on the list?
One of them is.
Show me Cincinnati.
Cincinnati is the city that I said was closest to Casper, Wyoming on this list. It is number 10. Cincinnati, Ohio, Yoda.
Oh, I thought it was Cincinnati, Ohio.
What did I say?
Cincinnati, Yoda.
Okay, Cincinnati, they're one of the few cities on this list that doesn't have a team in every major sport. There's no NHL team in Ohio. Cincinnati, Ohio.
Oh, my God.
You can believe that. Between all their pro sports teams, they've won only 5 championships. What?
Cosmo's excused himself to the back of the cliff.
Watching Cosmo is really more fascinating than anything we're talking about. You know how you said people at a baseball game will just be talking amongst themselves? Anyone watching this episode on YouTube is just watching him while we talk in the background.
Right.
The oldest team in Ohio, Cincinnati, is the Cincinnati Reds from 1882. They were founded. MLB opening day, Cincinnati has a distinction of holding the traditional opener in baseball each year due to its baseball history. In fact, children have been known to skip school on opening day, and it is commonly thought of as a holiday.
Well, that explains a lot, Cincinnati. Get your shit together.
Wow. The Reds have had one of the most successful baseball clubs of all time. In the mid-'70s, they were known as the Big Red Machine.
Oh, baby.
And the Bengals have made 3 Super Bowl appearances, most recently in 2022, but they have yet to win a championship. And a Bengal is kind of similar to Cosmo, the kitty. Oh, he's looking around while you did that. Okay. What do you think about Cincinnati?
Well, never been there. I can't say that I'm super interested to go there. And Cincinnati's one of those teams. They're in a historically tough division paired against the Steelers and the Ravens every season. Even with that in mind, they're usually a playoff strong team. Commentators, analysts love the Bengals, yet they just seem to never quite have the sauce to get all the way there.
Yep, and you're right. NFL is the only sport that exists in Cincinnati and the world. So it's the only one we should talk about.
Sorry, listener, but it's the sport I'm most informed on. And they don't have a basketball team, right? I think it's just Cleveland.
Yeah, maybe. That might be right.
Because the Cavaliers are in Cleveland.
Well, now I believe every other city on... Well, I won't say that. What else you got?
You know, I don't know how well historically the other teams have done in this city, so I'm going to go ahead and guess them because they've got the hot hand in the NFL. Show me Kansas Titty.
Kansas Titty is not in the top 10. I'm trying to see where they are.
Because I thought the Royals won a
14.
World Series not that long ago.
Number 14, still pretty respectable. You know, they're near Chicago and Denver,
right.
Seattle.
Okay.
Yep.
I'm going to guess St. Louis is not on the list. I don't know if that's too soon for every sports fan.
St. Louis is... Where are they? I don't see them. I'm scrolling.
Probably non-existent after the Rams left.
You know, Tulsa, if you're wondering, is number 38. Despite having no pro teams.
Yeah, Oklahoma City, I assume, is not on the list either. Just an NBA team.
Tulsa is actually ranked higher than Oklahoma City.
That is laughable.
Oklahoma City is number 53. And we bring up Tulsa and Oklahoma City just because Buster and I grew up in Oklahoma, if you're wondering. Okay, so what else you got?
San Francisco.
San Francisco is number what?
3.
8.
God, really?
You were late to guess number 8. San Francisco, they have collectively won 31 pro championships.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. Like, Talk about dominance.
The Warriors in San Francisco rank so high. One of the reasons is they have an ideal climate for outdoor activities. They have ample resources and more opportunities for amateur and participatory sports and recreation. There are more than 200 miles or 320 kilometers of bike paths, lanes, and bike routes in the city. San Francisco residents are often ranked among the fittest in the country, so I'm really surprised you don't live there, Buster, since apparently anyone can't look at you without being surprised you're not a Super Bowl champion. The Giants, the baseball team, have won World Series titles in 2010, 2012, 2014, and the 49ers have won 5 Super Bowl titles, all between 82 and 95.
And the Warriors.
That's where I was going next, if you could just be patient. The Warriors have won a bunch of NBA titles. They made it to the finals 5 years in a row between 2015 and 2019. They won 3 of those. They also won again in 2022.
That's why I'm sorry. Like the number of championships, their current dominance in 2 different sports, plus the ideal weather conditions. I don't know how this isn't in the top 5.
What's the second sport? The
Warriors are like championship contenders every year, and so is San Francisco.
San Francisco. What's the other sport they're a contender in? Besides
football and basketball.
Oh, okay.
The Golden State Warriors for the NBA and San Francisco 49ers. Like, if San Francisco doesn't make it at least to the NFC Championship this year, people will be, like, shaking their heads. And same with the Warriors. If they don't make it to the Western Conference Finals, people will be shaking their heads.
Okay. So far, you have number 10, Cincinnati. You're missing 9. Number 8 is San Francisco. You're missing 7. 6 is Miami. 5 is Dallas. You're missing 4. You're missing 3. 2 is Boston. You're missing 1. Are you not going to guess the NFL city that you fucking have a huge boner for because you happen to live close to it?
No, because I don't think it's going to be top ranked because they don't have any other major sports teams.
Well,
so in Wisconsin, we have a split because you've got such a history-rich legacy team in the Packers located in Green Bay. But then you've got Milwaukee, which has 2 staple teams, the Milwaukee Bucks and the Brewers for baseball. I'll be surprised if either one is in the top 10.
Milwaukee, no. Green Bay, no. But Green Bay did win an honorable mention for the best mid-size city.
Well, there you go.
The best mid-size cities are Green Bay, Buffalo, and then Glendale, Arizona.
There you go.
The best small cities, they say, are Clemson, South Carolina, West Point, New York, and Fayette, Mississippi.
Sure.
A lot of college sports, I'm guessing.
Yeah, I'll take their word for it. All right. Show me New York. New York.
New York. Dun, 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 something, something. New York is number what?
4.
You know what, bub? I'll give you credit. You're doing much better today on guessing the numbers. Number 4 is New York. Now, between their 9 pro sports teams, which I think is the most on this list because they have like 2 or 3 teams in every sport, they have won 52 championships, the most in the top 10, maybe the most, period. Their oldest team is the Yankees, who've been around since the early 90s. Now, when you're looking only at baseball, this is the number 1 city. But overall, it's number 4. The city has played host to more than 40 major pro teams in the 5 sports and their respective competing leagues. So
Wild.
40 different teams have come and gone or still play there. In addition to the many franchises, New York City is home to the headquarters of Major League Baseball, NBA, NFL, NHL, Major Soccer League, the National Women's Soccer League, and the WNBA. They're all headquartered in the city.
Damn.
Arguably the most successful pro sports franchise in the U.S., the Yankees, not the most valuable, but the most successful. The Yankees have won 21 American League East Division titles, 41 American League pennants, and 27 World Championships, all of which are MLB records. They have won more titles than any other franchise in any other of America's major 4 sports: NFL, NBA, MLB, NHL. Yankees have won more titles than any team in any of those sports.
Do you know when their last title was? Because I have no sense of how good they are today.
Let me look. The last time they won the World Series was... What year is this? 2009.
Okay. Yeah. That's about what I thought. It's been a
They
while.
may have appeared. They may have made it to the game or the series since then, but the last time they won was 2009. All right, so that's New York. Now, according to Forbes, the Yankees are right behind the Dallas Cowboys as the most valuable franchise sports.
Okay. The same can be said about the G-Men or the Jets. Am I right?
G-Men being the Giants, I assume.
Yeah.
I got to tell you,
both teams are in a free fall season of embarrassment in the NFL. Unfortunately.
I don't watch NFL, but I'm peripherally aware of the stats and like people I know in my life talk about NFL, including you. And I got to say, my entire life, I cannot remember anyone talking about the Jets other than when they got, what's his name, as their new quarterback. People started talking about the
Aaron Rodgers.
Aaron Rodgers. Other than that, the Jets are like a team I forget even exist because they never are talked about. I assume because they've always sucked. Is that about right?
Yeah. They've either been like crappy from a lot of terrible long form staffing, coaching, administration problems, or they just get really bad luck through the years.
Yeah. And look, in the Jets, 1968, they were in the AFL NFL championship game.
Yes, before the Super Bowl.
Yeah, but they have not been in the Super Bowl otherwise.
As a sports fan, I don't think I'll ever forget all the hype for Aaron Rodgers leaving the Green Bay Packers, going to the Jets. So much hype. Everyone was like, this is our year as Jets fans. Jets, Jets. 4 plays into the football season.
Tore his heel.
He tore his ACL on 9/11. And it was just, you can't write it more dramatic than that.
So that's New York. It's way down at number 4.
Just like New York with the amount of teams, I'm going to guess that Los Angeles is on the list as well.
They might be. If they were, in theory, what number do you think they'd be?
7.
Then what's number 1 then?
I was guessing maybe Pittsburgh.
Okay, that is a solid guess. I'll give you that. Los Angeles is number 1.
Yeah.
And I think, like New York, they benefit from having just so many teams. So many people live there. They have 8 pro sports teams that have won 30 total championships. Their oldest team goes back to 1883. That's the Dodgers, who originated in Brooklyn, but they play in LA now. If you're looking only at basketball and only at soccer, LA is number 1 for both of those cities as well as the overall number 1. It's the second largest city in the U.S. population-wise, but they did host no NFL team between 1995 and 2015, which is kind of weird. It's 20 years without an NFL team, but this changed, of course, in 2016 and 17 with the Rams and Chargers.
Mm-hmm.
Los Angeles tops the list of the best sports cities this year because of its strong appreciation for all types of sports, numerous pro sports teams, and proximity to iconic stadiums and arenas like Dodger Stadium, SoFi Stadium, Memorial Coliseum, the Rose Bowl. The City of Angels ranks as the best city for basketball fans, in large part due to the monumental success of the Lakers.
Oh, I forgot about the Lakers. Duh.
How did you forget about the Lakers?
Well, in my guessing of where they ranked on the list, the King wasn't on my mind.
They also have a ton of abundance and affordability for Division I college basketball, and is the number 1 city in America for soccer fans, as the LA Galaxy and Los Angeles FC have brought the city more MLS Cup titles than any other.
Oh, shit. Didn't know that either.
It's because you're ignorant. And the last note here is that, listen to this, LA area colleges have produced upwards of 200 national championship teams.
Shit.
Yeah, there's just so many people, so many colleges, so many pro sports teams, so many opportunities.
Yeah.
For sport. And if your NFL team sucks, well, you got an NBA team that's doing great. Or if your NHL team's not doing good, there's just right. And then they have the WNBA. So
and you get 2 football teams to choose from now.
Mm-hmm. And I think 2 baseball teams, but I might be wrong.
And both are not terrible. I mean, they're both great and impressive in their own right. I mean, one of them won the Super Bowl recently.
Oh, the Rams. I forgot they won the Super Bowl.
Yep.
Yeah, that's got to be a bitter pill for our friends in St. Louis. Shout out to Alex Johns.
Yep, we hope he's doing well.
Well, I didn't say that.
No.
So all you need now is numbers 9, 7, and 3.
Well, don't feel too bad for Alex Johns, by the way, because where he grew up, he's actually a Kansas City Chiefs fan. So I think he's doing just fine.
I'm so sick of the Chiefs, but anyway. 9,
So I already
7, and
mentioned
3.
Pittsburgh.
They're all pretty close to each other geographically. Pittsburgh is what number?
3.
3. Pittsburgh. That's despite not having an NBA team. They only have 3 pro sports teams that have won 18 total championships. Their oldest team is the Pirates, the MLB team that started in 1882.
Dude, that's crazy to me. They are number 3. They have only 18 combined championships. And how many total was San Francisco? I mean, it was like almost double or triple that.
San Francisco had 31.
Yeah, almost double. Just, yep.
But,
rest my case, Your
championships
Honor.
are important, but it's not the only factor in this ranking.
I suppose not.
Pittsburgh is the number 1 city when you only look at football.
Yep.
It probably has a large part to do with it. Sports in Pittsburgh have been played dating back to the American Civil War. Baseball, hockey, and the first professional American football game had been played in the city by 1892. Pittsburgh is the only city in the U.S. in which all professional sporting teams share the same colors. I thought you'd
that's
like
cool.
that. Yep,
I like
knew
that.
You'd like that. That seems so obvious. Like, of course.
Yeah.
And the Steelers are tied with the Patriots for most Super Bowl wins, which is 6. That's as of 2024.
Hell yeah, brother.
Steelers aren't so hot right now. Is that right?
They
the latest season?
are doing well, but they're in a very tough division with the Ravens. So it's usually a fight to get out of their division.
Yeah. Yeah, that's it. Pittsburgh.
Well, hot damn.
Well, hot damn.
I always thought the Steelers was cool. Like, what a great logo and the name.
Yeah, I like it
dating
too.
back to their city's history. It's legit.
Yeah, it's not a shitty name like the Packers.
And Pirates and Penguins, Pittsburgh. It just, it's great. Now, I'll be the first to admit, talking about what we'd referred to on our mascots episode, there aren't any Penguins or Pirates historically in Pittsburgh, but the alliteration is fine.
And it's cold there. That's enough for me to accept Penguins. I don't know
it's
what
cold there. And so Nick thinks penguins live anywhere it's cold.
Yeah, is that not right?
Okay.
I think that I've seen some penguins in the wintertime out here, I'm pretty sure.
Yep. You're like
Pittsburgh
Oklahoma politicians who say that climate change isn't real because they can go outside and bring a snowball in.
All right, I'm not going to get into a political discussion right now. But Pittsburgh, they are neighbors with another major sports city.
Oh, God, yeah. Probably in the same fucking state. Philadelphia.
I almost want to stop recording this episode because you made me so uncomfortable there.
And I know how it feels to be my wife, living with me day in and day out.
If she's even real. Right, everyone?
Well.
So Pittsburgh is number 7 or 9. Those are the 2 you're missing.
You mean Philadelphia?
Yes, Philadelphia. Sorry.
7.
You got it, bub.
Oh,
they've only won
yeah.
10 championships in this city, but they've been called the sports fans here have been considered to be the most knowledgeable and also known for their extreme passion for all of their teams. Philadelphia fans, particularly Phillies and Eagles fans, have a reputation for being, quote, the meanest fans in America. When I read that on Wikipedia, meanest fans in America was clickable, like it was hyperlinked. And when I clicked that link, it took me directly to a Wikipedia article on hooliganism.
They did do like millions of dollars of damage when the Eagles won the Super Bowl. And I couldn't help but remember. Yes, they won.
They damaged the city. It's so fucking stupid.
It's so immature and stupid.
Yeah. Each team in Philly, each pro team in Philly has been there since at least the 60s, and each team has won at least 2 championships. However, they went through a 25-year drought without a championship from the 76ers NBA Finals win in 1983. They didn't win another championship until the Phillies' 2008 World Series win. And after another 9 years without a championship, the Eagles finally won their first Super Bowl after the 2017 season.
2017, yeah.
That was the one you were talking about, where they damaged their own city. But it's fine. I'm sure after damaging the city, a lot of them came out and helped clean up, right? Probably paid
I bet. They were out there thousands of volunteer hours. They cleaned it right up.
So what's another major city that's pretty close to Philadelphia that you haven't even touched on yet?
Do they have an NFL team?
Yes, they have a team in every major pro sport.
Are they south of Pennsylvania?
Let me look at a map real quick. I can't picture it. I think they're kind of like, I know they're right next to this. They're right next to Pennsylvania, but like, are they south or east?
Yeah. Are they southeast?
Would you just guess a fucking city?
Baltimore.
This isn't a fucking geography quiz. No, Baltimore is not it.
I think the average person would be embarrassed if they saw me on a paper try to recreate the Northeast. I
I don't have to see you on a paper do it. I'm embarrassed already.
I fairly know well the position of all the other states in the country, but as soon as you get up to the Northeast, it's like,
oh yeah, it's only the most populous region in the entire country where more people live there than
and
anywhere else.
I feel embarrassed about it. But my representation of the map of the Northeast would be like that of a 4-year-old.
How about the city in America? The city that, other than maybe New York, that anyone outside of America would name first.
Gosh.
Oh my God. Where do you think the president watches the Super Bowl from?
Oh, really? Washington, D.C.?
Washington, D.C. Is that
That
not a real
me.
city to you? They don't count?
Well, many of their teams haven't been relevant for a long time.
Well, that's what makes them so passionate.
Hey.
Cheering them on. Okay, well, Washington, D.C. is number 9, and despite Buster thinking they're fucking the worst, they've won 14 championships between their 6 pro sports teams. Their oldest team was, at the time, known as the Redskins, 1937. They are now known as the Commanders,
which
as of
is
2020.
Wild.
Which part
we
of
had a pro publicly traded sports teams named the Redskins until like 2018, 2019, 2020.
2020 is the first season where they had the new name.
Wild.
Yeah. They're now the Commanders. They're among the most successful pro sports teams in North America throughout the 80s and early 90s. 4 Super Bowl appearances, winning 3 in a 10-year period, ending in 92. But don't worry, Buster says Washington, D.C.'s never been good at sports, and they have no...
That was 30 years ago, bub.
Okay, same with the Cowboys.
Yeah. You didn't hear me sucking their dick, did you?
No, but you guessed them. The sports of this region would then fall into a period of irrelevance. Buster, you'll like this part. After the NHL's Washington Capitals reached the 1998 Stanley Cup Finals, none of the Big 4 teams in the area, which are the Commanders in the NFL, the Capitals in the NHL, the Wizards in the NBA, and the Nationals in the MLB, none of those teams would reach its league's semifinal round for several years. The Commanders and Wizards often struggled in their respective regular seasons, while Capitals and Nationals were known for having spectacular regular seasons followed by demoralizing playoff losses. But in 2018, the Big Four drought was broken when the Capitals defeated the Vegas Golden Knights in the 2018 Stanley Cup Finals. The following year, the Nationals defeated the Houston Astros in the 2019 World Series. So what do you have to say about that? And one more. Outside of the Big Four, the Washington Mystics defeated the Connecticut Sun in the 2019 finals. So some recent success, but...
Well, there you go.
Yeah.
What was their baseball team?
Nationals.
And what's their hockey team?
Capitals.
They are the Nationals, Capitals, Commanders, all very fitting for the capital of the United States of America. And
Wizards. You don't think Wizards is fitting?
Wizards, man.
Hey, there's all kinds of dark magic happening in Washington, D.C.
I just love it. I love the vibe of the other 3, and then you've got the Wizards coming straight out of Tolkien, just shooting spells, and that's funny.
Yeah, I'm sure they wish they could have shot some spells when Michael Jordan owned them. All right, so I use this phrase loosely, but you did it. You got the top 10 best sports cities in America, according to the data.
Yeah. So loosely much I was nailed on this list. So
you nailed the number.
I'll take your formal apology whenever you're ready.
Okay. Well, you'll be waiting a while. So number 10, Cincinnati, Ohio. Number 9, Buster couldn't imagine anyone ever guessing this. Given a million guesses, no one would ever guess.
I
Washington,
put a
D.C.
spell on you.
What? Is that wizards? Is that the
Yeah.
connection? Okay, because those were witches that did that song. Number 8 is San Francisco. Number 7 is Philadelphia. Number 6 is Miami. Number 5 is Dallas. Number 4 is New York. Number 3 is Pittsburgh. Number 2 is Boston. And number 1, Los Angeles, California. There it
Praise
is.
be.
Praise be Los Angeles.
So, as the listeners could have guessed, our veteran Tinnish listeners, you're not a big sports fan. You don't watch a lot of sports, if any
No.
at all. So, of the big 5, which would you say you watch the most of, or that you would say you like the most?
NFL.
Okay. How many minutes per season of the NFL do you think you watch?
0. Maybe. Well, okay. It's usually on in the background when I go to someone's house for Thanksgiving or Christmas or whatever. So I'll occasionally kind of absentmindedly watch it during those times. But how many minutes have I spent like actively seeking to watch it? 0. I do watch the Super Bowl though.
I thought you had watched like baseball here and there, recreationally though. Is that not true?
No.
Fuck me.
Fuck you, indeed. Now, even though I don't watch football, other than what I just said, I know it's super weird, but I still do like pretty routinely check the standings for the NFL. I don't know why.
Nick likes being in the know.
It's not even so I can talk to people about it. I just am interested by by history and data. So like
You like
how many years
right.
in a row have the Cowboys gone without being in the Super Bowl? Like whatever. It's just interesting to me. But fuck it, man. Fuck it. What can I say but fuck it?
How many times can Jerry Jones not buy himself success down in Dallas, Texas?
Okay.
I mean,
So rank them then, Buster, of the main 5. Football, basketball, baseball, hockey, soccer. Rank them to where if you had to sit and watch a full game from beginning to end, your preference from most interested to least.
my gut reaction is to put 3 of them together in last place because I don't think I would choose to watch a full game. But if I have to rank them all 5, I would say least favorite would be soccer, followed by 4th place baseball, 3rd place hockey, 2nd place basketball, 1st place football. I watch between like NFL Red Zone and the primetime games being recorded on YouTube TV where I can skip ads. I say I watch about half of the football games in action throughout a whole NFL season. Basketball, I probably watch a total of 40 to 50 games a year. And then
40 or 50
nothing
more
of the
than I
rest.
watch. I would choose hockey over basketball.
Okay.
Well, and like soccer, no offense, and I know just based on international sports fandom, soccer is the number 1 sport in the world, but it is by far the most boring of those 5, I think. I can't get into it when I watch it.
Yeah.
Hmm.
And
Well-
listeners, if you want to tell Nick how stupid he is for that opinion, you can just email him at tinnishpod@gmail.com.
Or you can let me know on social media. We're on Instagram, we're on Facebook, YouTube, TikTok. You can follow us at all those at TennishPod. Links are also in the show notes. And of course, if you're a TennishPod Plus member, not only did you listen to this episode early before anyone else, you also listened to it ad-free. And as a TennishPod Plus member, you get to chat with me, Buster, and other listeners about this episode or anything under the sun, movies and books you're watching and reading, world events, anything in our private Discord channel. If you want info on that, you can sign up for TennishPod Plus with a free 7-day trial at tennishpod.com/PLUS, or you can also sign up in the Apple Podcast app.
Listener, sign yourself up for less money than it takes to buy your ass a cup of coffee these days. I mean, come on, what are you waiting for?
No lies detected. And in addition to treating yourself with ad-free bonus content, free swag and merch, everything else that comes with TennishPod Plus, you also get to know that you are supporting me and Buster in this show. We're not a corporate brand. We are growing the show little by little, and I very much appreciate your support.
No. Hold on. We all know that all the proceeds go directly to Stephen Clark because in his contract to be a sidekick host on this show, he wrote all of us out of the revenues. At least that was what I was told to come on this show. So
I was wondering why my checks had shrunk to nothing lately.
Yeah, I
I
have
just
not seen a
assumed
cent.
everyone had left, but okay. Stephen Clark, all right. Well, Stephen, he'll be here on the show next week on the next episode, so I will be sure to ask him about it.
And maybe I'll call in live during the recording of the episode and ask if I could just get like even 5% of the tennis revenue.
Call in live. Okay.
Just a little something.
What is this? Who Wants to Be a Millionaire? You're phoning a friend now, bringing you on the show?
Well, I hope to be someone's friend someday, so they could call me during a game show.
And I hope to be a millionaire. So, again, help us get there, listener. We're going to end this thing. Sports. They're great, right?
Yeah.
Hope you enjoyed this episode. Thank you. Goodbye.
Bye.